Sounds good. All right. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fireball Mullet channel. In today's episode, we're going to be doing the rear hatch glass hinges. So it's going to be a fun project, and I'm going to walk you guys through why you would do this project, what product I used, and also the outcome and step-by-step installation. So I'll also kind of go through what it's going to take to align this hatchback and give you some good recommendations on that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get the car turned around. We're going to take a look at the hatch and we'll start walking through it. We'll just pull it down a little bit. I don't need to shut it all the way. Tight bit. Okay, we got her spun around here. All right guys, so let's talk about what I used for the two hinges here. Hawks was nice enough to send me a couple hinges to do a video review. So I'm gonna give you my honest opinion about them and kind of walk through. They also provided me some billet bolts that go along with them, which totally eliminates the little plastic caps that come stock on these. And I was actually missing one of those. So pretty nice setup, really. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got here. So Hawks sent me a pair of these hatch glass hinges, very high quality. These are super nice. And with that, they also went ahead and sent me a bolt kit for these as well. So these are all billet aluminum here. So very high grade, very nicely put together, packaged, and made in the US of A. So that's pretty cool. And got some bolts, got some nuts here. And they even give you the indication of the right one and the left one, which is stamped on it. So very nice attention to detail. You can tell the bushings here. Looks like some type of brass bushings maybe. But man, these things are super silky smooth and very thick. So I think they're going to hold up better than the little stamped stock steel ones that typically would bend and that sort of thing. And the bolts are very nice. No more caps like the original one, which, you know, I'm actually missing a couple. So that's kind of cool. You got the bolts here and we're ready to go. Now I did pick up some Chinese knockoffs off eBay since Hawk sent me these free. I said, well, you know, the eBay ones are pretty cheap. Let me just check them out to do a comparison. And I picked up a pair of those, and I gotta say, I'm pretty much trashed those. They're, you know, so cheap. And I was like, well, what the hell? I'm doing these. I'll go ahead and make a video and I'll go ahead and compare them to the Hawks ones. And they are clearly in a different league. To me, on my car, I would much rather pay the more expensive ones. Even if they didn't send it to me, I would purchase these to go on my car. I can tell you right now, I don't know if you can hear that. This bushing is actually loose on this one. And that's a problem with this hatch. And you know, I think it's just the run, you know. Yeah, it's actually shaking on this bushing here. And the problem is, and the other one is got a bind to it. So you can't even hardly, look, I mean, that's just like me pushing down very hard with my thumb. So this one is bound up. It's kind of loose here in the beginning, and then it really binds up here on the end. And then this one is like crazy loose. So the problem with that right there is, and even if you get a set that feels somewhat okay, I'll guarantee you it won't last that long. And the problem is, one of these days you're going to open or closing your hatch, it's going to bind and it's going to twist and you're going to break the glass, guarantee you. So it's up to you for your car, which one you want to go. But for this car, you know, I'm going to use these and recommend the Hawks billet hatch hinges. Okay, so that's the product overview. These are going to go in the trash. I wouldn't even give them I don't even want anybody to put these on their car, to be honest with you. Now, let's talk about why you would install these. So the first reason is you may have an offset here. Your hatch may come out further than your spoiler here, and it may be pushed out. That's really the first telltale sign, if you will, of something going on with your hatch hinges. All right, so let's open up the hatch. Let's get the shade out of the way. Now on the stock, you can probably look and you'll see a little bit of a bow on the hinges itself. There's two hinges here. There's two bolts that go through the glass and two bolts that go through the body. So you may notice there's a little bit of a curvature and those hinges are bent. In my case, both hinges were bent, and that's most of the cause of why this was sticking out further. So that was one of the main reasons there. So you can kind of, diagnose it, see if you need a set of hinges. But the other thing is this back panel here actually attaches to this glass, can slide back and forth. It's kind of a known issue with third gens, but I would suggest doing these hinges first, working with it quite a bit to make sure you've got it aligned right. And then if you still have a problem, maybe it's this back panel here, but that's a little bit bigger job. But in today's video, we're gonna focus on the hinges themselves and getting those replaced. So let's go ahead and start talking about the process of replacing your hatch hinges. Okay? So the first thing you'll wanna do, obviously we've got the hatch open. Now, in my case, I'm actually gonna have a friend of mine, Tom, who's gonna help me do this. You could probably do this yourself. Just be very careful if you decide to do it yourself. There's probably some ways you can set the hatch up on something, maneuver it, and maybe replace one at a time. I'm going to go ahead and take the hatch completely off, set it on a little table. So I'm going to use my buddy Tom for that. But me and Tom will work through, first of all, if you're going to do that, don't worry about unbolting the hatch glass piece of it. So leave these bolts tight and just go ahead underneath of it. And the first thing you want to do is there's a trim piece. There's a trim piece that you want to take off. It's right here. It's one of the plastic trim pieces here that goes on, and there's about 4 screws, I think. Take them off, and then you'll have access to 2 nuts for each one of the brackets. This is always fun part, is the back of the car. I feel like a big guy in a little coat song, but whenever I'm in the back seat. But let's go ahead and get these. There's just a few screws here, guys. So that's why I just got the whole kit. And bam. Like that, you got the cover off. We'll just leave that in here, I guess. Maybe I'll take it out. All right, that's step 1. Yep, I can see the bolts here, and oop, covered them up over there with the kill mat. And so you'll want to go ahead. What we did was loosen that up till a couple of threads. And then once we got into position, we basically got on each side. We loosened it from underneath. And then, of course, we also took off the strut supports, popped them off. There's supposed to be 2 bolts here, but I've never had them. And I just realized that, so I got to pick up a couple of these bolts to keep these on. So you'll want to take these off and then just lift the hatch off. So it's just 4 nuts then, 2 on each one of the brackets. Lift that hatch off and go ahead and set it down. Hey guys, I went ahead and kind of protected the edges here with this stuff called track tape. Here it is right here. Basically, it's pretty nice. It's a way to, if you were trailing it and you had the front end, a lot of guys, where they go racing, they kind of do the lower balance panels and things like that from rock chips. If you do it right, it can really go against the paint. You could hardly tell. But for the purposes of this, I just take a little bit, run it around along the edge here, and then I also just kind of put it against my shirt a couple times to pick up some lint, so it just peels off pretty easy, and there's no chance of like peeling off the ceramic coat or any kind of paint, loose paint areas. So anyway, I think that's going to be pretty nice. And now we've got it all protected here, and we'll kind of go from there, guys. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get those 2 bolts off on each side. Maybe take some channel locks, hold the button or the other side of it, see if we can get this open with a 13 millimeter, I believe. So we'll go ahead.
If you wanted to try what you were thinking, do you want to just pop off the 2 on the body itself?
Oh yeah, and just keep them on that, and we can lift it off.
Take the whole thing off, set it on the table.
Yeah.
So we don't scratch the car or nothing over here on this side when we try to get those caps off.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Since, you know, the beginning of time.
Yeah. So you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Tom.
Tom. We got got some people hanging out and helping me Hercules this thing off the car, and we'll see how it goes. All right, cool. Upset. It's easier to get in the backs, or we need a socket.
No, it's turning.
I hope that one's turning, because that's a stud, I believe, right?
Yeah. No, it's coming loose.
I'll be like, wow, if that's turning, we got a bigger problem. That's going to be like a cutoff wheel problem.
True.
I was saying when they painted the car, they used all that buffing compound and everything.
Yeah, that's why it's white.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to be able to clean that out while I got this off too.
I'm not going to fully take these off because these struts are still pushing against the glass.
Yeah, okay.
Both of these are loose.
So maybe get it a couple threads. We could just, you know.
You see it's moving?
Yeah. All right, so we're taking off the right side. The Tom he's doing all the work so far.
It's fine. This is
That's
like
how
what
it's gonna end up.
Yeah.
Tom likes doing everything.
I mean, this is what I do all day long anyway.
Yeah. I'm hoping this should be a pretty simple project. Oh, and I also got some butyl tape for the just to put as a gasket between the body and the hinge there, because that'll leak if you don't put something there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I got some of that butyl tape that I used on my T-tops. I used that on the T-top bar.
Yeah.
And,
no, that does make sense.
And completely stopped it from leaking. Like, that was the ticket. So okay, those are loose.
They're not finger loose, but they are loose enough that this is gonna move.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what we want to do? I can hold it. We can take these off and then maybe loosen them up.
Are you good?
Yeah. Got it. Ready? Yeah. Here we go.
Too bad you don't have that squid down.
All right. So, like I said, we got a bunch of this compound stuff I can detail off here. There's really not even any gasket right here, unless it's all came off on the. I do see like maybe some silicone. It looks like they did.
Yeah, there is definitely something on the inside.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it looks like some gray dum-dum.
Yeah, so maybe when they painted it, they had that off, you know.
And now you have a chance to. You can get all this out.
Yeah. Exactly. We'll be doing that.
Do you have a different?
There
Oh, there
you
you
go.
go. Yeah, see, they're not that tight.
No. We're not going to be putting them on tight either. Is it bent?
Yeah, look at that. Bit.
Oh, yeah. You can tell.
Oh, where's the other one? Yeah, that's a good example.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yep. That's bent. Okay. That'll do it. feels a lot better doing it off the car, man. You know, I just thought about doing it myself, but then I was like, no, I don't think so. There you go. Yeah, they're not tight at all. It's like once it gets snug, it's just maybe snug and just a little turn, you know?
Half a ooga looga.
All right.
Oh God, they're horrible looking too.
Yeah. That's original 1985, baby. No. Who knows? Who knows?
You know, they're actually easy to hold on to them with the caps still on them.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'll compare it. The right one here, or both.
Yeah, this is the left, and that's the right.
Oh wow, look at that one. That's definitely a big gap. Yeah, they're officially bent.
That doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah. All right, so here's how we did it. Thinking that once we get this in there, this stuff is really nice. It really doesn't dry up, so it's just gonna like flatten out, seal it all across there, so it's a nice bead. And it's just this tape here. Oh yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
What's that?
It's notched so the bracket itself is holding it.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
Well engineered. Show the camera that.
Yeah, see, it's got a flat spot. I don't know if you can see it.
There you go.
It's that angle.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got two flat spots
Nice.
on each side. I didn't know it had
That
that.
locks it in, so we don't have to vice grip it probably.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Hold on. Yep. Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because then they.
Nice. They look nice too. That billet. No rust, you know.
Yeah, see, there's a little bit of a.
Okay. A little bit
of
yeah.
adjustment there.
Maybe 1/4 inch, maybe. Okay. That's good for now. We'll do the other side. You boys and girls over. Now, once you do that, you know, this is the little bit of a sketchy part, is you both pick it up, you're walking it over, and then you've got to basically guide the 2 bolts through the body, right? So you're basically compressing that butyl tape that I had there to the body and the hinge, and you get the 2 nuts there. Go ahead from underneath the car and put those 2 nuts back on the hinge, get those started, and then get your 13mm. And I'm just gonna grab one to kind of show you what I use. Nothing special about this wrench other than to say, don't use a socket, don't use a power ratchet, none of that. Just get a simple ratchet, maybe a ratchet, just a simple wrench or a ratchet wrench like this, 13mm, and just get it a little bit snug. Right? Once you get it snug, back off a 1/2 turn to a turn. Again, you're gonna want some movement because the mount on the body moves a lot more than the one on the glass. So that's gonna be your main alignment mechanism as you start to align the sides and the back of the hatch, okay? So let's say, you know, we got that on there now. I will tell you, let's talk about the alignment part of it. The best thing I can tell you is, what I learned is you cannot align it with these on right here. So you want to take these off and just kind of lay them here. You may even want to take off the bottom of them as well. That way you can close the hatch all the way to get a perfect sort of like, hey, where's this lining up? But for me, I kind of eyeballed it, so I just left that there. And as it came down, it just kind of sit on that, which was fine. So you want to make sure these are off when you're doing the alignment. Otherwise, what we found is, Tom and I found, the struts push this out and it's kind of hard, and it, you know, there's a lot of strength in those. It's kind of hard to align it when you're working against that resistance of the strut. So take those off. Now, the first thing you want to do, the first time you close it, you'll actually want to make sure that the first alignment you want to make sure as you start to close it is this top piece here. You want to make sure that you're not hitting any paint on this top part here. Because if you push this too far forward, then it's a possibility you're gonna chip your paint right here, okay? So the first thing you want to check is that. Everything else you're gonna be fine. So as you start to lower it, check this gap here. If you feel like you're gonna miss and it's pretty close, I like to get it as close as possible and miss, and then start to shut it. And as you both, you know, and this is why it's good having two people. One person can be on that side and checking it as you kind of go down, and you can kind of check the alignment, make sure you don't get into paint or anything like that. And then you can start to see, okay, I've got a more gap over here than I've got over here. Let's move it over. So then start working the gap here, assuming that you got this lined up now because you've pushed the glass up as far as possible. You start to get in good shape here. And once you start to get in that, you can start to snug the bolts down, loosen them up, maybe tweak it a little bit more, and start to align it that way. All right.
And we are live, back with Stan.
All right, so we spent some back and forth. The key is aligning it, is take these struts off, and then you can kind of wiggle around. Tom and I was discovering we can kind of wiggle around a little bit more. I think we got it pretty close for now. It definitely, and I'll show you when I close it, it brought it in further. We did notice it's got two different stops here. So we need to get another one of these. That's a shorty, and this one is a nice long one and it's adjustable. And so we were able to dial in the height and get that right. But I'm gonna have to pick one up for the other side to get that right. So other than that, I feel pretty good about it. And let's go in and take a look at the hinges. So we're gonna do the final wrist torque. We're not gonna torque it to specs. We're gonna tighten it, and there. That's it. I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah, I was getting nervous just finger tightening them.
And then I thought I heard something go. No, I'm just kidding. If you hear that, stop. And you can always come back. We can mark it maybe with some paint and just, or look at the,
You can get a little pin marker.
alignment. Yeah. Which, what I do, I use my daughter's nail polish. 'Cause I don't have the
Yeah, that'll work too.
purple nail polish, that is. So yeah, when I marked all my bolts and stuff, it's purple nail polish. But anyway, that's it. Let's take this off and we'll shut it up. There we go. Track tape on. That stuff works great, man. It's thick too. I like it. All right, let's put down the 13 millimeter. Okay, now
Shake and bake, baby.
let's close it up. Bam. So, yeah, so this needs to come up, and it's pretty close, man. For a third gen, that's not bad. Get like the top of it, like.
Yeah, because this is what we meant about
Yeah.
that bumper on the
Yep.
hatch.
So once that comes up, and then get the top view here to kind of line here.
We couldn't adjust it.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. These things are pretty easy, especially if you have someone like Tom helping you.
And with some small hands.
Yeah. But no, it's good stuff, man. And yeah, pretty straightforward. And pretty happy with that, man. Those bent ones are out of here. We're gonna trash them. All right, I'll show you kind of the results here. Now we got nice billet, no caps, nicely done there. Just kind of fit in there. You can see I've got a really nice gap here, really nice. I think the gap looks pretty good here. And you can see that looks pretty good, you know? So I'm pretty happy with that. This is where it's down some, right? So that's where we got to move that up some. And no, I'm pretty happy with everything. And let me pop it. I'll kind of show you what it looks like inside of it as well. So let's go ahead and just kind of pop that hatch. Okay, and we'll show you. I gotta still put my trim here underneath of it, but yeah, that's it right there. They're pretty cool, man. They even look slick, you know? So they look very nice, man. And that's the finished product there. So very cool stuff. The biggest thing is the glass. You know, if you look at the thumbnail of this video, so I've gotten all kinds of pictures and photos where people broke their hatch glass because they torqued it too much. That's the biggest thing, is it's really an easy job, especially if you have 2 people. You should be able to get it done in a couple hours easily, and that's just taking your time with the alignment mostly. But you know, if you know, less is more. So when you're tightening that those bolts on the glass, just go a little bit, you know, get it snug and maybe just a little bit more. Use that wrist torque on a small wrench so you're not putting a lot of pressure on it. Maybe a little more than finger tight, I would say, but mark it and then check it every couple weeks. So that's today's video, guys. We'll see you on the flip side. Have a good week.